We're back with our 90-day challenge of taking a bronze ADC all the way to diamond.
No! No.
You're about to watch one of the most relatable ADC games of all time. Our trainee Zot followed every single word of his challenger coach's advice and gets flamed for it by his feeding support. Not only that, but the entire map is also lost before the lane phase even ended, and it was somehow all Zot's fault. But first, how'd we get here? After episode 2's lesson on laning, Zot was doing pretty well in low gold with some basic game plans that enable you to have multiple win conditions in lane.
Okay, so it looks like they're staying in lane. I just spent all of my gold, so if they don't base after this wave, I am just going to look for an all-in, I guess. Okay, I feel like I got hit by absolutely everything there, but I still come out ahead. I like it.
In fact, Hector's lessons from the first 2 weeks were working so well, he was actually starting to get a little worried.
Zot's climb is going so well, I swear people are gonna think we have a diamond player secretly playing his account to boost his win rate or whatever. So instead, for today, we're gonna take a look at a full game where I was coaching him through his plat promos. I even tried to sabotage the game multiple times by getting him to limit test even with his terrible mechanics. And it didn't matter. You're going to see why the first 2 steps that we've taught so far in this journey are so effective in low elo despite how simple they are.
Also, we want to make it crystal clear that Hector doesn't give Zot any private coaching. Every tip, every lesson, every interaction between them is all included in our bronze to diamond courses at skillcap.com, enabling you to follow the exact same steps to improvement that he's currently taking. Check out the link in the description below to start your journey today. But Zot's mechanics were actually the least of Hector's worries because, like we said, this is a game straight from ELO hell. He was paired with the exact type of support every single ADC hates to have, as Zot's Leona will be flaming and trolling from the very start of the game. Not only that, but his entire team was losing as well. It's the quintessential ADC game where the match feels over before you even got a chance to scale and play the game. So let's see if Zot, with Hector in his ear, can claw his way to victory. If you remember step 2 from last week's lessons, you'll already know that you should always create a game plan before you approach your lane.
We would win a longer trade, so yeah, I'm just going to be playing off Leona, avoiding poke until we can all in, basically.
Yeah, this is why I had you go press the attack. I haven't had you do this on MF before, but this is better with engaged supports. Like, it's simpler to do, because if your support wants to all in, you want a rune that helps you all in, right?
With their game plan in mind, the lane begins. But Zot and Leona have lost the early push to Jhin, who was in lane a bit faster.
You guys have lost push? Listen to me, it is okay to not hit the wave. Just let it push in.
At SkillCapped, we've noticed the trend of low elo players misunderstanding level leads. Every streamer or content creator tells you to fight aggressively for level 2. But then this happens. Players are so tunnel visioned on hitting level 2 first that they often over push the minions. Jhin built such a big wave advantage that if Zot just walks back right now, Jhin will completely miss his opportunity to punish with his level lead, because the wave is pushing so quickly, giving him no time to actually abuse the lead. However, with Hector's help, Zot quickly realizes this. But of course, it doesn't even matter if you as the ADC know what the right thing to do is if your support doesn't. Leona just stood there as they hit level 2, losing her entire health bar for free. This is why step 3 of our lesson plan focused entirely on dealing with bad supports, because of this exact frustration. You can have a challenger in your ear telling you what to do, and it doesn't matter. Your support will mess things up anyway. And it even happens again immediately right afterwards.
Well, it's alright. Now you've got the even minion rule thing. You could start building a slow push. Hit the Jhin. Oh, God. Oh, boy.
Wait, snipe.
That wasn't even close. What do you mean, snipe?
I guess we can safely say the promo's curse is real. This is the exact type of game everyone dreads having. Fiddle is having an existential crisis in the chat, and Leona, who is the one messing multiple plays up, is the one calling Zot a bot. But the trick to winning these types of games isn't focusing on everything going wrong. It's to, instead, focus on any positives you might have, even if they seem minor, as difficult as that sounds.
You guys died, but you got more CS. So your advantage right now is maybe experience. So you don't want to fight at level 3. You want to fight at level 4.
This guy's not even going to play now because I'm a bot.
Hit the wave, 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 hit the wave. You're almost level 4 here. As you're about to hit level 4, you kind of want to posture so your breath. It doesn't seem like she wants to play. That's fine.
As frustrating as Leona is, this is a good teaching moment. If you notice, Zot and Leona did have an opportunity to turn this lane around right now. If you aren't aware, levels are worth about 600 gold in terms of overall stats. And at this moment, despite having lost the 2v2, they both have a momentary level lead. So if Leona decided to play, they actually had a huge advantage in this fight. Not only does she not engage, but Leona then gets hooked right after as Jin and Pyke equalize the level deficit. In situations where your support is getting hit for free, make sure to at least hit the enemy duo back. You will still lose the trade, but don't let them get away with damage for free. But with Zot's chances at promotion looking lower than Leona's health bar, things are not looking good so far. Luckily for Zot though, he can always fall back on his champion mastery, which by that I mean his complete inability to understand how misfortune works. He's so clueless about her abilities that we're actually going to put a counter on screen to track every time he forgets to use W, giving you a front row seat to why Hector was practically having an aneurysm during this game.
Use your damn W. Why do you not use your W?
But as Pyke walks up and starts channeling his hook, Zot doesn't use his W's movement speed to dodge and gets very, very lucky that Pyke missed.
And don't autopilot hit this minion. I will murder you if you do.
Unfortunately, Zot luckily surviving earlier won't go unanswered. As per League solo queue rules, all debts must be repaid. Leona eventually stands still in the brush and just dies.
All you're trying to do is get 1300 gold.
Remember back to last week's lessons. Despite everything going wrong, you always want to have multiple lane game plans. Zot's early rune trades plan is gone because of Leona, and he can't play for level spikes because of her either. But something he can still do is play around item economy. By staying patient, he eventually manages to sneak a good base in, buying BF sword, giving him some much needed power. Oh, and as Zot walks back out on the map, Leona's dead again. And she's immediately pinging and flaming in the chat. But Zot is about to stage an epic comeback in this game, and it all begins now. All by executing step 3 of our program, and the main lesson for this week, learning how to deal with bad supports. Two of the most important lessons Hector taught Zot this week to help carry games just like this one were, first of all, that it's never as bad as it seems. And this is something Zot quickly started to come to terms with after reviewing multiple lane phases with Hector.
The biggest one for me is that when I'm in the moment, when I'm in that game, everything feels so pressured. I was like convinced that these guys are terrible, and he's going to be like, yeah, they're terrible. Like, these guys are trolling. And then when we get into the VOD review, even without him pointing it out, I'm just watching it and I'm thinking, damn, this kind of doesn't look as bad as it was. It really is. In the moment, you feel like it's terrible. It's terrible. How am I down CS? How am I going to base here? How didn't we win that trade? And honestly, it's never as bad as it seems.
And as you may have noticed throughout this game, Zot somehow hasn't completely lost his mind. At least not yet. Although in the moment, this game might feel awful to play, if we take a look, Zot isn't hopelessly behind. He's almost even in XP and has comparable items. This is a playable game. But before we get into the second lesson this week, if we have any support players here, you may want to cover your ears for this, as something Hector explained to Zot in this lesson was this.
I would say that a plat ADC has maybe this much skill, and a plat support has maybe this much. I would say it's almost like this, whereas the ADC I feel like has way more game knowledge and mechanics than the average support in their same bracket. Basically, there's this like big disconnect right here where you have all of this game knowledge that you're expecting your support to have, but they probably won't. But at the same time, your support's like a little less skill than you, but their support's less skill than their ADC. So, you know, you can abuse that as well.
So, look, ADCs always have something to say about their support. But here's the thing. The enemy support is around the same skill level as yours. And it's for that reason that we can finally see some hope in the game, as Pyke fulfills the prophecy. As foretold, he gets cocky and overdives, despite having a weak all-in ADC. And Zot is able to turn the play around, scoring a much-needed shutdown. But Zot's not out of the woods yet, as League comes in.
Oh.
Oh my god, that's the most nerve-wracking moment of my life.
Getting up at the skin of his teeth yet again, Zot manages to crash the wave and looks to recall.
It's
like you want the stuff, or yes. It's like
I forgot.
But even despite his trolling and the game being 10-3 right now, after returning to lane, Hector and Zot are feeling like they're in a good spot.
pressing tab. This Jin has crit cloak. Really dog component. You have insane components.
Yeah, I'm stronger than him 1v1.
right now, you guys just want to fight. If your Leona doesn't want to fight, that's okay.
This right here is an incredibly pivotal moment in this game, which, if you're following along with Zot's journey, you should already know because of last week's lessons included in Step 2 of our program, where we covered how to play around item economy, and that all components are not created equal. Looking at you, Crit Cloak, every ADC has experienced the horrendous Crit Cloak recall timer, which feels horrible to sit on. So in this situation, despite Jhin being up in kills and having more overall gold than Zot, you always want to pay attention to current items instead of KDA, and most importantly, measure the component quality as well. And just by doing this, Zot knows that he shouldn't be afraid of action. Any fight he takes should be favorable, and that's exactly how he makes a comeback during this timing window based on their items. As Leona gets caught out in the jungle, it'd be easy to think she's just feeding and to leave her to die. But like Zot knows from his lessons, now's the time he should be looking for fights. So without any hesitation, he commits to helping her, scoring a huge shutdown off yet another enemy mistake. Remember, this is what carrying in low elo is all about. Your teammates will be frustrating to play with, but the simple truth is that your opponents are just as likely to make mistakes too. What's important is to keep a level head and be ready to capitalize on those mistakes whenever they happen. Best way to do this is by always having a game plan and multiple win conditions you're striving towards, as this will let you make the most of these moments when they do inevitably happen, and trust us, they will. But going back to the game, Leona has to base, leaving Zot on his own now.
You can get dove here. So if they start walking up, you may need to run away. Okay, you wasted hook. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yep, you're fine. Just hit him a bit. Yep, focus on hitting them.
This is actually another big lesson, as one huge mistake many ADC players tend to make, and something Zot has also struggled with, is putting way too much emphasis on last hitting under turret. Remember, just like items, in League you always want to think about current versus future advantages. By sacrificing a few minions right now to dish out damage instead, Zot's trading away a bit of future power for a stronger position in lane right now. And this, combined with the item advantage he still has, leads to what happens next.
Yeah. Okay, he has no hook. Walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up, walk up. Hit them. If they let you, hit them. Yes, good.
Yeah, I would have never thought about that. That's a good, like, once he...
Yeah. Good.
And that great re-engage by Leona brings us to the next lesson in Step 3 of our program for dealing with bad supports.
Your supports are going to come with a wide variety of skills. As an ADC, it's usually best to match what they're doing in order to get the best value out of your support. These people are in your ELO for a reason. Like, if they're so bad in lane, surely they're good at something. Surely they're good at warding. Surely they're good at playing safe. Surely they're good at, like, you know, contesting objectives. Surely they're good at getting picks. They are good at something. So as long as you try to keep that in the back of your mind, like, okay, this player will do something good at some point. It's a lot easier to ignore like the huge negatives.
Want to see all of this week's lessons in full? Join the ever-growing list of successful players who have transformed their gameplay by following along with Zot's exact journey from bronze to diamond. Unlock access to over 20 hours of exclusive content, from in-depth lessons, focused VOD reviews pinpointing the exact mistakes holding you back, to complete full-length Challenger earpieces. Everything you need to climb from Iron to all the way to Diamond. Right there for you to follow step by step. And the best part? There's zero risk, as if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service, you'll get all of your money back. Plus, for a limited time, gain access to a special discount using the link in the description below. But going back to the game, think about everything this Leona has failed up until this point. She obviously has very low wave control knowledge, not even realizing when her opponents were about to hit level 2. She has zero patience and becomes toxic at the first sign of anything going wrong. But even despite that, there's no way this player would be at this elo in this game with this mentality if she wasn't good at something else. And that skill is almost certainly fighting, as her fighting mechanics so far in this game have honestly been quite good. Like here, she faked that she was going to hit the minion for her support item, only to catch Pyke off guard, resulting in a pretty clean kill. Now, this lane is starting to swing entirely in Zot's favor, as Jhin is even forced to concede waves at his tower after Zot and his support threaten the dive. And it only gets worse from here. Let's just say it's painfully obvious Pyke hasn't watched Step 2 of our program, as once he gets back in the lane, he forces an all-in with the flash engage. If you're following along with Zot's journey, you should already know why this is bad. Not only are they forcing an all-in while Zot still has that current item advantage we spoke about earlier, but on top of that, as we know from our rune trade lesson, Jhin is also running fleet footwork to Zot's press the attack. I think we can all guess the outcome of this play. Yep, Yet another shutdown for Zot. And now because they're winning lane and have priority, Zot can rotate to the random skirmish happening in the river, where by using their numbers advantage, he scores yet another kill here as well. And with 3,000 gold in the bank, Zot gets a huge power spike in base and comes back to lane feeling good. After pushing as slowly as possible because he refuses to use his W, Zot punishes Jhin while Pyke abandoned him to roam to the other side of the map. Remember, this is the Leona Zot had to work with this game, but just by following our super straightforward lessons that any ADC can use right away in their games, look at the results. Zot now has a ton of kills, about 9 CS per minute, and is in a position to solo carry the game. But even now, looking at the rest of the map doesn't inspire much hope. There's still a very long way to go to carry this game. However, with the laning phase now coming to an end while Zot slowly and painfully destroys the turret, again, not using his W, it means we can now resort back to step 1 of our program and something Zot continues to excel at: mindlessly farming.
Pickaxe, cloak. Go to where a wave is.
If you remember back to step 1 of our program, it focuses on teaching you the most important lesson for every ADC: how to maximize your farm, rewarding you with so much solo gold and experience that you won't even need to rely on your mechanics to carry. Which is lucky, because despite being in his platinum promotion game, I think we can all agree Zot's mechanics are definitely nowhere near that level.
That's all. How is this on me?
Anyways, getting back to our game, with Zot heading back onto the map, any standard coach would tell him that with Herald spawning in 30 seconds, he should use his tempo to go mid, get priority, get vision, and use his lead to secure the objective, as objectives are what win games. And while they might be correct, here at Skillcapped we don't always focus on teaching you the theoretical correct play. We believe if you truly want to climb, there's no need to overcomplicate things, especially by making elaborate plays around and involving your team. Instead, you should simply prioritize farm this early into the game, and that's exactly what Hector is teaching Zot to do. He goes bottom, farms some minions, and sees that Jhin is randomly caught out by Leona. So he walks up and scores another kill. We just want to point out that from here on out, Hector will be guiding Zot through some mid-game macro decisions. And spoiler, that is going to be the focus of next week's lesson, so we won't be going too in-depth into what he says this week. But for now, let's just see if Zot can close out this game by following step 1. And sorry buddy, no minions get to escape.
Okay, so they're all topside. You can hit the bot lane tower here. You're going to the next wave. Cue the wave. Okay, press W, cue the wave. Now hit the tower. Wave, tower. Yes, good. I mean, yeah. Perfect. I just got capped, but it's okay. Yeah, just hit her. Nice. Now run, 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 run. Press W, 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 W. Maybe you can hit him. Limit test? Never mind.
He's so fast. Why is everyone so fast on this game?
After that series of mechanical mishaps, Zot respawns and heads to Dragon. We just want to make it clear that we by no means are telling you to never help your teammates at objectives by mindlessly farming. You still want to help them, but only when it makes sense to do so, and you're not going to lose a lot from doing it. Like here, all 3 lanes are shoved in, so Zot may as well help at Dragon with nothing else to do. Unfortunately, as they try to do Dragon, Lee swoops in to steal it and a team fight erupts.
Yeah, I mean, at least he dies, maybe. Christ. Okay, stop. It's Hector from the future here. I don't know if you guys saw that, but this is the perfect example of why Zot is climbing so fast and a huge learning lesson. Did you guys notice how I didn't tell him to do anything, but in the middle of this fight, he was already moving bottom when he thought it was over. And you can tell he really wanted to go to that bot lane wave rather than help his team. This is what I want all of you to learn to do, and what I've hammered into Zot constantly throughout this climb. You want to develop a minion pushing addiction. You should want to push waves all the time. If you see a wave, every fiber of your being should want to go push it. I would rather you guys lose your games, look a bit silly, and get flamed by your entire team than stick around them all the time, playing it safe, hoping things don't go wrong.
But despite how you should always want to push waves, there's obviously a limit. Clearly, in this case, Zot was correct in noticing that he should have helped his team and rejoins them to eventually take down Ahri for another kill. And with most of the enemy dead, Zot clears the mid wave, then rotates straight to top. From there, he continues to farm 2 more waves until this happens.
I didn't just rush. Then to... Oh, I meant the other one, but it's okay. Go into the lane. Go into the lane. Go into the lane. No. Pop. He's going to use his E. Yes, on the wave. Now when he uses this, go.
He's gonna push.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kill him. He spells.
Clearly, Zot's mechanics have quite a ways to go. And not only that, but Hector is clearly throwing the game with his questionable calls, and Syndra isn't happy about it one bit. But after respawning, Zot has some catch-up to do on the map. Every lane is now being shoved in following his death. So it's time to play Farm Simulator while slowly driving Hector crazy.
Use your damn W. Why do you not use your W? Press your goddamn W.
I'm not used to resetting so much, I guess.
Okay, push another wave, and you can get IE and Quick Cloak. I don't care what's happening in mid, just immediately base here.
You don't want me to hide in this bush and try to 1v1 the cannon?
I would love it, but you don't use your spells.
But once Zot makes his way back out on the map, check out how ridiculously strong he is. Even though his team's been basically feeding all game, he's somehow completely stacked with items, not to mention the highest level in the game. This is extremely crucial to take note of and why solo experience is so valuable. Remember, levels are not just extra skill points, you get a ton of stats including health, damage, and resistances as well. Combine that with how ADC items scale into the late game and you get situations like this dragon fight. As he walks in, Zot gets hit by a charm immediately. But because he's so strong relative to the Ahri, he just ignores her and ults the rest of the enemy team in her face. And there's nothing she can really do about it. She doesn't have the damage to take down the base stats of a Misfortune a level up over her. This is something players tend to really underestimate. For example, if Zot wasn't farming so well and was level 13, exactly like the enemy Jhin, Ahri would have had a level up over him. And look at the damage difference this combo would have done. But by simply being ahead of the curve in items and levels, it enables you to tank so much more damage and get away with terrible mechanics. But anyways, eventually, Zot's team ends up coming out ahead in the dragon fight. And afterwards, you guessed it, he goes back to power farming like a vacuum cleaner, pushing in mid, hoovering up some jungle camps on the way, before then heading to top, where, unfortunately for Zot, Hector seems to have come down with a serious case of amnesia.
Once you kill the wave, do a little backward. No, there's a wave.
Yeah, I see.
Pretend you're walking back to base, and then go back to it. So yeah. Nice, now go to the brush.
The issue is, though, I've already done this move. These guys, you think they forgot this move? Look, he knows about this move.
Yeah, and she's just face checking. Now run away. Oh
no.
Oh. Disgusting.
These moves that you're getting me to do here, the bush, like I told you, they knew about that one. They've seen that one. They've seen that show. They've seen that episode.
They didn't know about it. She walked into you.
Hopefully that should be enough to convince anyone who thinks Zot doesn't deserve his rank and he's just climbing because Hector is telling him what to do in their earpiece sessions that they do only a single time per week. Well, I don't know about you, but to me, it seems like Hector's the one doing the baiting.
Yeah, chase this guy. Go into this cannon. Yeah, they think they're baiting you. Zot, nice.
But despite it seeming like he's trolling, the main issue is Zot just doesn't have the mechanics to pull off what Hector is expecting from him. So these challenger calls are at this point mostly just getting Zot to throw his lead or burning his summoner spells. But in spite of these silly calls, Zot got so far ahead that they do eventually end up winning the game. And
Ooh. Platinum.
We love that.
You make my eyes bleed when you play, and you're still plat. Not too bad.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Are you sick of being stuck in your current rank? You can follow the exact fast-track lessons Hector's teaching Zot, propelling any player, regardless of skill level, from your current rank to platinum and beyond at record speed, revealing the secrets behind exactly what it takes to break out of each division. But despite Zot's impressive climb, the real challenge is just beginning. The path forward gets brutally difficult, which is why, for next week's lessons, Hector is unleashing the ultimate weapon, Macro. Something you can gain exclusive early access to in our Bronze to Diamond course right now and master these skills before anyone else. So if you're serious about climbing and breaking out of ELO hell for good, check it out today using the link in the description below. For now though, thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next episode.